Hello guys, Ollelito back here with a brand new Tuesday tutorial on the channel. In today's video, as you've seen by the title and the thumbnail, I will teach you guys how you put pressure in the FC25. If you manage to master these different combinations between putting pressure but also knowing when you can't really put pressure, you will win so much more games than with champions and also get a very good skill rating in rivals and reach the elite division. So for now, let's just jump into today's video. But before we jump into the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate that a lot. Now, let's go. So basically, there are a few different things you need to master when you want to put pressure on this game. First of all, putting pressure on this game, super hard. You barely see any pro players besides maybe Anders Weidgang that are able to put some insane pressure on their opponent's half. So as you see in the background, we have my opponent who is in white, I'm in the blackets, and I'm going to try to put some pressure on him. But at the same time, the thing you want to achieve when you're trying to think about putting pressure on your opponent is you're trying to slow them down so they are not able to reach your half of the pitch, because once they reach your half of the pitch, depending on what formation you're in, obviously it will get easier for them to just play around your midfielder. So I play, for example, the 4-2-1-3 formation. That means my cam, my wingers and striker is basically known to be going to be non-existent in defense. And as you see in the background here, he's starting off with Haaland. He sends his Grimaldo at the top left, but the thing I'm not going to do is to just run straight at Haaland, because he has a lot of options. He can play either back to the goalkeeper, he can play to Van Dijk, he can switch it to Dumfries. So the thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off that kind of CDM. And this is basically kind of like trying to set him up to go into a trap, if that makes sense. So after he gets the ball with Haaland, he finds his CM. And of course, in these kind of sequences, don't expect to get the ball like from your opponent in their half all the time, because it's 99% of the time if your opponent just does something right in terms of doing like the right pass, the right switch, whatever, it's incredibly hard to put pressure on your opponent's half. So my opponent does pretty well here. As I see at the top left, he is basically sent Grimaldo early, as we saw at the start of the clip there, so I need to cover this off with Dumfries. The thing I'm doing after is that I put a bit of second man press with Marquisio, as you saw there in that freeze frame a bit before, and this means that I want to basically tell him that I will be a bit in your face, but I won't be there yet. But I'm here. Like, you need to pass the ball away, otherwise I'm going to be aggressive. Go at him, press tackle, and then try to get the ball. So here again, I'm not really going with Marquisio on him, but now I managed to slow him down. Now he doesn't really have a lot of forward passes from here. So the thing I do here, I try to do second man press with Marquisio, but also trying to cut that pass to Leao at the top, because that's a kind of a aggressive pass. He can take the touch forward, and then he has some space to play in. So once again, I just try to cut that kind of pass off to Leao, because then he needs to go back, which means I'll slow him down. After this then, he finds his Matuidi. And as I said, with ping pass being so good in this game, with tiki-taka being so good in this game at the moment, the ball moves way faster than the players. So it is, so as I said at the start, incredibly hard to pressure your opponent in their own half. So once again here, I try to drag Dybala towards Leao, basically make him play the ball out to his wing back. And once I'm here, I know, okay, he sent his Leao. I do second man press with Dybala, as you see here, as there is like a green arrow behind Dybala's head, trying to put pressure on him. And then I make him turn back. And once he turns back, as I said, it's inviting this kind of pressure. Because as you see there, I don't really switch to my makers, but the AI is doing it for me. And that's what pressure play is all about in this year's game. Trying to slow the opponent down. And when you feel like you're close enough and he's starting to play the ball backwards, that's when you can start to be aggressive. So once again here, I get the ball from some really good pressure, I would say, trying to slow him down at the same time. But here again, I try to go a bit backwards. I try to just make the ball do the work. And once again here, that pass should be to Dybala. Doesn't matter. We still get into a pretty good spot here with makers. And from here, we can start our attack basically. Once again here, we have I would say like we're in a pretty good spot here with Marquisio. Could just easily find Billing. I'm doing a play lock here to Henry. I wanted to break that kind of line. Though, this guy played with like a full, like the best team you could possibly can play in the game. So I had Timo Rodri, Yaya Touré, Maradona, Leao, Henry, Timo Hansen, whatever you name it. He blocks this pass, and when he breaks kind of my midfield line, the thing I want to do then is to try to track back with my midfielders that I'm using. And obviously Marquisio was pretty high up. Now Dybala is gone because he lost that 50-50, and the only player that's kind of close is this Billing. So the thing I'm going to do, I'm going to switch to Billing very quickly. I'm not really going to care about the run of Henry, because the AI will handle that itself for now. And the thing I'm doing, I'm just tracking back. Just tracking back. I'm not switching to Dumfries trying to be aggressive, because if I move out with Dumfries here, Leao will have a lot of space to basically run into and reach my box. So as I said, I try to get closer with Billing. Once I am pretty close with Billing, I either decide to go at him, try to tackle. Now Maradona is facing basically with his back towards Billing, which in this game, unfortunately, is still a thing. You can get the ball even though your opponent is basically shielding it. So you can basically get the ball through your opponent. But the thing I'm doing second man press with Billing while actually cutting off that kind of pass to Liao. And once again, I see he sends his left back, which is Grimaldo in this case. And once he goes back to Maradona here, I decide to be aggressive, pressing tackle and winning the ball. As I said, it's not really a lot about pressure in this year's game. It's all about tracking back, and when you find that kind of space, that's when you want to be aggressive. Once again here, a pretty good attack after we managed to be very aggressive with Billing. With finding Henry here again, though, I should have just turned and shot finesse there, even though it's not a bad option finding Dybala. But yeah, we basically, when we get the ball, we try to go quickly, because as I said, when you slow down on this game, that's when, at least in my opinion, it's easier for your opponent to put pressure on you. When you keep the ball moving all the time, it's very, very hard to intercept the ball if you're making the ball do the work all the time, basically. Okay, so we miss a pretty easy pass here. We're still leading 4-2, no need to rush. Once again, though, trying to put pressure, because, as I said, I believe this guy was playing the 4-2-1-3 formation as well, so I knew that his wingers were not going to be basically existent in defense. But the thing I could have done here, if I wanted to really be aggressive, is to try to go with Salamakers towards Matuidi. But once again, as I said, we try to cut off players first when we are on the opponent's half. Then when we feel like we can go quicker, when the opponent starts to go backwards, that's when we want to be aggressive and try to apply some pressure. And you do this obviously by using the second man press, which is basically holding in the R1 button on your controller. And once again here in the background then, I try to cover this pass to Liao, which I do. He manages to find his cam here. Yes, he could have played this out to Grimaldo first time, but I still think Dumfries intercepts his first time. The thing I do then, I try to put Salamakers in that lane so Maradona can't reach Liao. But Maradona's passing, obviously really good. Once again here though, I try to switch to Dumfries early because I see that Grimaldo is making a threatening run in behind. So once he finds Liao, he can only play this pass first touch. I'm already on Dumfries, I read it. If he plays this pass on the ground, Dumfries intercepts this pass. He needs to play it in air, and he manages to miss that pass, and we apply some great pressure and manage to get the ball from that sequence. And this is going to be, I think, the best clip out of them all, to be honest. Once again, I'm not really focusing on going at my opponent. I'm focusing on what is going to be his next move. Yes, he wants to take the ball forward because obviously he's losing, but also that's the best way of going about things in build-up, in my opinion. Trying to go forward and not really slowing it down. I don't think you could get rewarded for that. So once again here, I am a bit too aggressive with Dybala here. I probably should have just switched to Dybala quicker because he didn't really have his winger open either. Then I could have applied some good pressure on Theo Hernandez. Now, it happens. We shouldn't be thinking about what we should have done. Now I need to think, okay, next step, he's probably going to pass this to Rodri and then try to play Theo later on in the attack because he likes to use his fullbacks in attack. So the thing that happens here, I see, okay, I want to cut off this Ronaldinho, but at the same time, I want to cut off this pass in between my Billing and Marquisio that reaches Henry. So the thing he does here, Rodri tries to find Ronaldinho with a pass, which is totally fine. I'm trying to get closer to Ronaldinho, so I block this pass off. But at the same time, I'm doing second man press, so Billing gets closer towards the ball holder, basically tucking in a bit more. And I see at the same time he's doing play lock towards Henry, because I think he wants to find Henry, then try to play for the third ball towards Theo Hernandez. So the thing I'm doing is I cut off manually Ronaldinho with my Marquisio. I'm doing second man press with Billing, which means that he will tuck in and get closer to the ball holder. When he gets closer to the ball holder, basically my AI is in the perfect position because I did some great second man pressure with Billing. I managed to win the ball here. His fullback is out of position, and from here I can obviously take space. Then again, obviously, Salamakers against Van Dijk won't be the best matchup, but I think you guys started to understand what I mean with applying pressure, but at the same time trying to slow your opponent down and basically try to keep the middle as compact as you possibly can, because you will win the ball a lot more through the middle if you apply these kind of, I would say, not tactics, but instructions, I would say, some patterns in how you defend in this game. At the same time, this is basically what you get with the 4-2-1-3 formation, right? You have your two CDMs, and from here, when you're trying to defend short corners, this is also going to be try to apply pressure, but also try to be secure with the CDMs and don't pull them out of position, because the CDMs will be kind of that extra layer that your opponent needs to break through to be able to score on you. So when my opponent has the ball outside of my box here, I tend to, a lot of times, try to drop in the CDM and try to cut off these wingers that are trying to put themselves in between the fullback and the center back to try to find that space, but also the striker, trying to cut off basically these three players off when we face a 4-2-1-3 or a 4-4-1-1 formation, even a 4-4-2 formation. Dumfries here in this kind of sequence. Here again, I should be more aggressive with Dumfries, switching to him, but then also passing circle to be able to win the ball with a standing tackle. Here though, I don't do this because I basically try to put pressure with the second man pressure on Ronaldinho, so he feels, okay, now Dumfries is close, I need to pass the ball away or I need to dribble away. But at the same time, I'm doing it manually with Marquisio here, so I'm tucking him in and trying to cut that dangerous pass off to one of his strikers here, which is Reiten, or wingers, I should say. And the thing here, I don't really get the ball. I don't really get rewarded for doing this, which is fine, because I see, okay, he can probably find Rodri, then a first time pass into Henry, then try to finish. So he finds Rodri. There again though, now Henry is offside. So the only option he has to play is to Reiten. I switch quickly here to my Milito. The thing I probably should have done is to switch quickly to Billing and try to move Billing in towards the middle a bit more, so he cuts off Henry while my AI tries to cut off the run towards Reiten. Now again though, I did a quick tiny bit with second man pressure with Marquisio, which means that he's going closer towards Rodri, cutting that pass off to Reiten going forward. And when we get the ball here, we try to want to go to the wingers, because we all know how good 95 depth is. The AI is basically applying a lot of pressure once you basically get the ball. And I would compare the 95 depth to basically press off the possession loss, because when your opponent is losing the ball and they play 95 depth, you will just get a swarm of players trying to get the ball. So I always want to take the ball out towards the winger. And when I'm here, and when I play in the 4-2-1-3 formation, I can do a through ball with my CDM towards my winger and try to start my attack. Basically my counter attack from there. Yes guys, that's been it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment if you like these types of tutorials, and what tutorials do you want to see next on the channel. Let me know down in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you're not missing the upcoming videos as well. Thank you so much for today guys. Love you. See you guys soon. Bye bye.